Welcome back, Shop Rats. Today, here on Talk About It Tuesday, we are going to answer the 5 questions that channel viewer Frank Neely asked over in the community tab. Now, we could talk about it or we can just talk about it. So let's talk about it because it's Talk About It Tuesday. Let's watch the show intro. I'll see you in about 27 seconds. If you don't want to watch the show intro, you can just take that slider and move it ahead 27 seconds and pick it up on the other side. You don't have to go away from the channel. All right, we'll see you on the other side. I'm Mike, and this is My Car Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
I always try to get good discussion going over in the community tab, and recently I had asked the question, what topics would you like me to cover, or what questions do you have that you would like me to answer here on the show? And I got some great stuff. As a matter of fact, from Duddy over at Duddy's Adventure, we actually got a couple of different episodes because of questions he asked, and I've been slowly either answering those questions on the community tab or I've been doing videos to answer them. And so anyway, channel viewer Frank Neely had asked 5 questions, and I thought today would be a great opportunity to answer those questions here on Talk About It Tuesday. So the very first question that he asked was, do I have any collaborations planned or any friends coming up to be on the channel? And the answer to that is yes and yes. So while I don't have any firm plans in the works for a collaboration, we certainly have been having discussion with Blake over at Bad Tree Productions, William and Jason, and I am apologizing, I can never remember your name, over at Iron Horse Garage, Joe. Matter of fact, I'm representing Joe today, Just Mopar Joe. Been talking to him. Been talking to John over at Life at Speed. We've been talking to Duddy and the Dodge Whisperer about possibly doing something. So I don't know what that's going to look like. In my ideal world, I would love to just do like a big road trip and hit a bunch of these places. And there probably is another one that I'm forgetting, and I apologize. I'm not meaning to leave anybody out. Being as my son lives in Texas, not far from Duddy, that's an obvious thing that could happen because he's only, like I said, an hour away or so. And my daughter lives in Kansas, which isn't too far from several other channels in that area. So we'll see. But we've definitely had some discussion about those collaborations. We've even talked about ping-ponging some video back and forth and, well, a few other things. But I don't want to give away too many surprises. So we'll just leave it at that for now. As far as guests on the channel, yes, definitely. Brad and I have been having a discussion about him coming up at some point. I know my buddy Chris, that you've seen on the channel many times, he plans to be back in a few weeks again. Probably about the time you see this is when he's actually going to be here, and I'm sure we'll be doing something. And my buddy Mark, again, of course, you've seen him on the channel many times. He will also be on the show. Are there others? Well, I'm kind of one of those things where I'm not running out and asking people if they want to be on the show, but certainly when people express an interest, we try to make that happen. So that's kind of how I handle it. I don't just go out and say, hey, would you like to be on my show? No, you express some interest, and then we'll see if we can make that happen or not. So that's kind of where we're at with friends and fellow YouTubers. Kind of lost my train of thought there because I got interrupted, but hopefully I captured that well. Second question, would I be willing to sell any of my cars, or am I just sentimentally attached to them? The answer to that is yes and yes. Every car kind of has some sentimental attachment. However, there are some cars that I definitely will be selling at some point. Part of that is discussion with my kids. I'm getting to that age where, let's just face it, one of my best friends was just killed here. He's just a little older than me. Life is short and life is fleeting, and the older we get, the more we know we're getting close to the finish line. So you got to kind of plan on that stuff. I have talked with Joe about which cars that he might want I've talked with my daughter about it, and I haven't gotten any definitive answers there yet. But I kind of got some things in mind. But of course, almost, I won't say everything, but almost everything is for sale for the right price. So, there's that too. But cars that I would sell at some point would be the 74 Swinger for sure. It's sentimental to me because my son drove that in high school, and we never really have completed it. We've made false starts at getting it done, but one of these days I'm just gonna bang that thing out and get it done. So look forward to. I'm almost thinking like doing a marathon session, which is unusual for me, but doing a beginning to end one video or a couple of videos of really taking that car, doing the body and paint, doing the engine, etc. That car might become available at some point. The Golden Mullet. When I'm done with that car, most likely that car will eventually go up for sale. I didn't really buy that car with the intention of keeping it. I'm not out to make a lot of money on it or anything, but I got that car because I wanted to showcase a whole different set of skills. And do I like the car? Yeah. Will I like the car when it's done? Oh yeah, big time. Will I want to keep the car? Probably not. Ones at this point that probably aren't going anywhere. Well, the Oakland's never going anywhere. That's a family thing, of course, so that's sticking forever. The Duster has a whole future that we've not discussed on the channel yet. There's all kinds of behind-the-scenes stuff with that car. I'll just leave it at that. There'll be a full disclosure on that car coming down the road. The Challenger, probably not going anywhere because it's being built to be a twin to the Charger. 47 Ford, maybe. That's a pretty high dollar car, so we'll see when it's done what happens with that one. The 73 Swinger, uncertain on the future of that one yet. That's kind of Becky's car, even though she never drives it, so it's just she is so busy in life that it's really hard to get her to be more engaged. She's engaged behind the scenes with it, but we haven't discussed the future of that car and what she would like to see. Of course, the 69 Charger belongs to my son Joe, so that's not anything that I have any say over. I'm probably forgetting some. We'll see. So that's it. But yeah, some of them are definitely going to be for sale. Do I have sentimental attachment to them? Yeah, I kind of do, but not enough that I wouldn't sell. I learned something a long time ago when I end up selling a car is don't ever sell it for financial reasons because you'll just regret it. And I've stuck to that pretty well for over 30 years now. If I sell a car, it's usually because I have another project in mind and I need the capital. When I sold my Model A, that was the case. I sold my Model A for the very purpose of building the 47 Ford. Do I regret selling the Model A? No. Kinda. No. Do I wish I still had the car? Yeah. Do I regret selling it? No. See how that is. I wouldn't have the 47 if I had. So I will sell a car once in a while, but it's not something that I do on a regular basis. Next question. Is there a hobby that I have other than cars or music? And yes. Well, I don't feel like music is really a hobby. I get where the question is coming from. It's definitely something that I do spend a lot of time on. It is also something that pays for itself. So, there is an income that comes from that. We've worked really hard. And of course, we want to take that further to become an income stream for all of us that are in the band. But I hear the question and I hear the intent. So are there other hobbies? Yes. Some of them I won't discuss on YouTube for various reasons. No, not pornography. But yes, probably the biggest one that is kind of dormant right now that I kind of put on the back burner, and this one may surprise you or it may not, is model railroading. Part of that is because I just don't have the space for what I would like to do and what I want to do. Some of that is time. I just don't have the time that it takes. It's a very detailed hobby, and I have boxes and boxes and boxes of equipment just set aside and put away. I used to have a big layout in the basement years ago. I haven't had anything set up really for the last 20 years, but HO scale model railroading, freelance model railroading is something that I have done since I was a kid. My dad is a big model railroader, and so I kind of caught that bug from him. I figure when my health gets to the point that I'm not physically able to work on the cars, that I probably will get more involved back into the model railroading at that point. So yes, again, there are a couple others, but I'll leave those to your imagination. Junkyards or swap meets? Boy, that's tough, because I never go to swap meets and I almost never go to junkyards. I have found, yes, I mean, the Stitches Challenger indirectly came to me from a salvage yard. I didn't buy it. My buddy Dave got it. We watch the salvage yards. We have relationships with people in salvage yards to say, hey, if interesting things come along, let us know. Do we go hoofing it around a salvage yard? Only if it's something really interesting. Only if it's something that is loaded with old stuff. Do I go to swap meets? I haven't been to a swap meet in 20 plus years. And the last times I went was mostly just to sell, although Joe and I did go down to the metro area to a big one at the Gibraltar Trade Center, specifically to find parts for his Charger. And of course, I did find some things that I wanted as well at that time. But most of the way I get the stuff that I get is through word of mouth, through friends. I've got some really good connections with people who want to remain anonymous, who want to remain nameless, and they're willing to help me out when I need stuff. And a lot of times we do bartering rather than cash. So I've got resources, definitely, but they're not through official channels. So junkyards or swap meets, kind of neither, really. I tend to do this all outside the box. So which would I prefer to go to? I guess my preference would be, I hate the greed of the prices at swap meets a lot of times. So I would tend to go to salvage yards, as long as it's a salvage yard that specializes in old stuff, and as long as it's one that I have a personal connection with, that I know I'm going to get good deals on stuff. Question number 5. Would I consider doing meet and greets as my fan base grows? 100% yes. I really want to take Stitches when it's further along, even if it's not done, and take it to events, but I know the channel needs to be bigger so that there is more attention brought to the Challenger as we bring it to shows. We're getting there, definitely. We've got a long ways to go. I've even considered taking Stitches around as a project in process, but it's kind of hard to do that when it's on the rotisserie. So, but would I do meet and greets? Absolutely, absolutely. I know the connection is important with people. We've seen that in over the years with the band. We know how important meet and greet is, backstage passes, personal connection. I try to make a habit after a show to go out and shake everybody's hand and meet people. And I feel the same thing with the YouTube channel, that meeting people, talking to people is what this is all about. Connection, right? I know that you guys that watch the guys and gals that watch the channel, I'm from the north, everybody's guys, eh? Sorry. I know that you guys are as invested in these projects as I am. I'm just kind of the puppet on the string doing the build, but I know you guys are really invested in all the stuff we have going on, and I want to share that with you in as many ways as possible. So definitely doing meet and greets is on my radar. And it's funny because I'm kind of a stay-at-home person. I really don't like to go anywhere. I used to travel. I traveled the world for over 20 years and did a lot of traveling and so forth, and I kind of just burned out on that. But there's two things I'm passionate about: traveling with the band when we have the opportunities to do that, and traveling with the show to get out there and meet you guys. So I absolutely plan on doing that, and I've kind of had it on my radar to do something locally. Resources have been pretty tight, so I've not been able to put together some of the materials that I want to put together, like an easy up that's branded for the channel and a couple of banners and signs and things like that. But as the resources are there, we will definitely do that. The hard part for me is when there are some resources available, I always want to put that right back into the channel as far as projects and stuff that we can keep moving forward on the stuff you guys are interested in. So I hope that kind of makes some sense. Those are Frank's 5 questions. So if you have questions, drop them down there in the comments or drop them over there in the community tab, and I will, if I can gather enough questions that make sense to put into an episode, we'll do another one of these. I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the engagement more than you know. We are right around 1,300 subscribers as of today on the channel, and I'm sure by the time this comes out, that number is going to be higher. And I can't tell you enough that I know without every one of you, I wouldn't be able to do this. And so I greatly appreciate it. The support. People, you contact me on a regular basis. Hey, I've got this or I've got that. Can you use it for the channel? Can you use it for this project or that project? People sending money. People buying tools and equipment for the shop. The engagement and the support is incredible, and the very fact that you guys watch this stuff and you're interested and engaged in those projects means everything. Of course, I always want to know how we can be more engaged. So, there's that. I'm always open to your comments, and I appreciate it. I get a lot of feedback behind the scenes of, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What about trying this on the channel? What about trying, some of them I do implement, some of them I have reasons I don't. But I always want to engage in that conversation with you, and I appreciate you guys and gals more than words can say. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We're on the Face Thing. We're over on Instant Crema, / My Car Shop. We're here on the U Thing, of course, so like, subscribe. The biggest thing you can do, along with everything else you do, of course, which I'm just blown away with, but if you would, please share the channel and share the videos with your friends, with your enemies. Share it in any forums you're on, in social media. Let's get the word out there, and let's continue to see the channel grow, because the bigger the channel gets, the more resources I have at my disposal, the more we can do here on the channel. All right, that'll do it. We'll catch you on the next one.